Some folks say they will never, ever buy an EV. Well, the good, the bad, and the truly silly comments will be answered here. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla Weekend. No, I won't. Just no, I won't. Not the most helpful comment, I suppose. Well, if you're not planning on living long enough to see the transition, I guess that's possible. Or for that matter, you could, maybe if you're going to expire tomorrow, the same could be true of anything. Maybe you're not going to buy another coffee. Maybe you're not going to buy another car of any kind. Maybe you're not going to buy anything. Not the most helpful comment, but there are some good ones in here. Let's keep moving. I will argue that the billion-plus ICE cars and trucks currently on the road aren't going anywhere anytime too soon. Many will simply buy a used vehicle for the next couple decades. Average Americans buy a 10-year-old car and drive it into the ground. I don't know if that's quite true. So if the last one produced is in 2035, it is quite possible it won't be off the road until 2055. Yeah, that's true. Cars that use leaded gasoline were on the road for many years longer. They just weren't using leaded gasoline. I also know my 10-year-old daughter will likely never own an ICE car. Pretty sure my 46-year-old wife owns her last ICE car. I'm 56 and could see owning an ICE truck for a while because no sign of a real electric work truck on the horizon. Well, there is. There's a couple. You've got Ram is going to have 500 miles of range, though with a battery roughly the size of a city block. The Hummer, I guess, is a thing, sort of, if you like cars only sold in white. Yeah, it's possible. And I am not going to spend over $40,000 to $50,000. Okay, there it is. We found it. Yeah, trucks under $40,000 are going the way of the dodo. Average prices for any car, depending on the source, Kelley Blue Book says $43,000 as of January. Other sources are showing more like $47,000 to $49,000. If $40,000 is your cutoff, you're going to struggle to buy any vehicle at all. Definitely a truck, which has a lot of atoms, a lot of mass, a lot of cost inherent in the design. So I have no choice but to buy used for a while. Maybe 10 years from now. If I take care of the current truck, maybe there's a chance used heavy-duty electric pickup will have been around long enough. That's my reality. Can be totally pro-EVs and also believe ICE will be around for another 40 years. Just saying. It's a good comment. Get your bone. I appreciate that. I disagree with a number of the premises. Electric cars, used, can be affordable. They have been historically. There are people who paid $35,000 for a Leaf and people who 3 years later bought that Leaf off of them for $6,000. Now, that's not a good example. The Leaf was, inarguably, not the best vehicle. So maybe that's more true for some than others. Quality used vehicles of an electric drivetrain will become available. I agree that everyone will buy EVs, but I believe the way we're doing it is wrong. There should be no government requirement or coercion. That only causes pain and inefficiency. Fact is, EVs will prove to be both more economical and more reliable. Most people will make the logical choice to switch. Others will be forced as ICE companies fail to be profitable due to the loss of economies of scale. ICE car availability will naturally dry up due to market conditions. But unnaturally forcing the transition forces people to buy products that can't be properly ramped in production, leading to massive financial damage to the consumer and the economy in general. Strong disagree. Yeah, everyone's going to be on EVs, but government requirements are what has always moved the industry forward. You could buy a fuel-efficient car in 1971 when the Pinto came out, but it wasn't attractive, it wasn't compelling, and it wasn't fun. It did get 21 to 25 miles to the gallon, while the Ford Torino of the same era was more like 7 to 10 miles to the gallon. They were forced to move forward, and the transition was painful. When the 70s gas crunch hit, there were a lot of companies that didn't want to make fuel-efficient vehicles, and they had to be dragged kicking and screaming into the future. Today, you can get a very fast, very fun, very high horsepower car that gets better gas mileage than a Pinto while looking better, even with a gas engine. It was going to be the death of the muscle car. Muscle cars today are insane compared to what they were back then, back in the 80s, back even in the 90s. My Lexus SC300 from the 90s had like 220 horsepower, and my Nissan Quest minivan has more than that and gets better gas mileage, significantly, despite being 1,000 pounds heavier. It's not as fun to drive. It's not meant to be. The fact is, EVs will be more economical. Yes, but only if we force them to make them. The gas companies are not interested in this. The companies making a huge profit on internal combustion engines have no motivation to switch. And until Tesla came along, there wasn't even proof that it could be done, that you could profitably sell a competitive, exciting car and actually make people buy it. Yeah, others will be forced because of this. Unnaturally forcing the transition. Well, we forced the transition to higher gas mileage, to lower emissions, to safety standards, to crumple zones, to airbags. These aren't things that you would think, well, people will want to buy a car with airbags. Why did we have to mandate them? Because companies will continue selling them without. The crash safety things, you would think that the market would be enough to drive that, but it just isn't. Unnaturally forcing the transition forces people to buy products that can't be properly ramped in production, leading to massive financial damage. But they can. They can be ramped. Every major car company, except for maybe Honda, has a plan to get to at least 50% EVs by 2035. At least in most markets. Ford is saying that by 2035, they'll be at 100% EVs in the European market for passenger vehicles. That wasn't going to happen on its own. It had to be pushed. The products can be ramped. And financial damage, this is the air we breathe. This is the water we drink. I'm more interested in having a quieter future for everyone, a healthier future, a safer future. It's not enough that I should buy an EV, but that everyone should participate in this equally. If you buy an EV, that makes my neighborhood quieter. That makes the exhaust and emissions lower in my neighborhood. That makes the fine particulates from things like brake dust in my neighborhood lower. It's better for everyone. And you're not covering the external costs, the financial damage caused by things that are not internalized by the companies causing the harm. Why am I paying on my medical for problems caused by your car? That doesn't seem fair. Let's save everyone, not just ourselves. Respectfully, I disagree. ICE cars aren't ever going completely away, and California will be forced to rescind the mandate. Well, Baby UFO, formerly UFOologist, a regular, a fan of the channel, respectfully disagrees. Well, UFOologist has been nothing, if not consistent. Did you have a baby? If you did, congratulations. Yeah, they are going away. California will not be forced to rescind the mandate. CARB mandates are famously quite sticky. They are seldom, if not never, rescinded. Sometimes they'll adjust them, but 2035 looks very doable, and it is absolutely on pace. So maybe they won't go away completely, but the truth is there are still steam-powered cars. Yes, steam-powered cars exist. No one drives them because they don't make any sense, but they exist and they can drive. But why would you drive it? Why would you? The fueling is such a hassle. It's a complete pain. And if gas prices continue to climb, which they should as demand falls, it's going to make less and less sense over time. With all due respect, wrong. There were no EVs at the chargers all winter. Our coldest day was negative 52 Celsius. Welcome to Canada. So I responded, the only reason you see people at gas stations in the winter is because they can't fuel up at home. No car functions well below negative 10, negative 23 Celsius, and extreme outliers like negative 52, which is negative 52 Fahrenheit, Celsius, negative 61 Fahrenheit, do not represent meaningful data. I may have goofed those numbers. The average winter temperatures in Canada's biggest cities are all in the range of modestly below to modestly above freezing all winter. Given the choice between standing outside, attending my gas pump for 4 minutes, and 20 seconds each to connect and disconnect with the rest of the time staying toasty in the cabin, I know which one I'll pick. This is silly. Saying that Canada's not going to transition, they have. They've announced it. It's going to happen. It's unavoidable. And while there are some places in Canada where an EV will struggle in the winter, that is also true of a gasoline or diesel vehicle. Negative 52 Celsius. I mean, that's pretty low, my friend. I do not believe that this comment is remotely in good faith, but okay. Most people I know who owned EVs have cycled back to hybrids, says Honda Wired. It's not that they are against the tech, but against the current limitations of the tech at this juncture. I own both, and my go-to is my CR-V hybrid, which is the best solution for me now. My Polestar 2 is awesome, but it serves specific driving duties that don't involve any trips to our beach house 3 hours away, for example. I foresee a day that a BEV will be my one and only, but not right now, not yet. Bullshit. Bullshit. Normally I couch these things, but bullshit. Bullshit. Come on, man. So it's a 3-hour drive to your cabin. Not your cabin, your house. So you're telling me you would rather gas up, drive there, and halfway back gas up again. Right? That's what you're saying. Rather than leave with a full charge, just that you plugged in, it just happened. Drive there, plug it in again, and drive back. You'd rather go to the gas station twice than drive an EV 3 hours? 3 hours. At highway speed, that's only 180 miles. If your cabin's less than 250 away, you're going to make it. Maybe not in a Polestar 2, but I don't know why you bought that. It's a cool car. Maybe not the best one for the journey. So this is a disingenuous comment through and through. Give me a break. You may know people who've cycled back to hybrids. I don't. I don't know any. Your anecdote could be true, but based on the rest of your comment, I don't believe it. And my comment is true because I know, but it's an anecdote. They're just anecdotes. Most people are not switching from EVs back to hybrids. That's not how it works. It's very uncommon. And especially, most people who buy EVs are sold. They're in. They're more fun. They're quieter. They're cheaper to operate. They're just plain better. So thanks to my patrons who get early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. You know the deal. And for those unaware, I'm going to be speaking at the Fully Charged South live event at the end of the month. I think I'm speaking on the morning of the 28th, but I'm not sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very exciting. And I'll be there the whole 3 days, so if you're in Farnborough, for that matter, if you're in England or Ireland, let me know. Maybe we can connect. It'd be a lot of fun. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it all into them in comments below and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you guys on the flippity flop.